All right. Well, today we're going to be talking about how to build your first sales funnel because I know there's a lot of you out there who are working on. You recognize that, especially look after we went through in 2020. I think all of us are realizing that if we're going to grow a business, it needs to be online, or at least it needs to have a significant segment of it online, because we are facing a world where all the in-person businesses largely got shut down. They were unable to be open. They were unable to do business. And if they didn't have an online presence, they were in trouble. And there's a lot of really sad stories out there of business owners, restaurant owners, so on and so forth, who didn't have a website, who didn't have a way to sell, do carry out orders, do things like that. They went under, and it's a very, very sad thing. So the thing is that if you're going to make it work, you have to learn how to have a business online. This is where the future of business is going. This is how all things are going to be working more and more all the time out into the future. So you really need to figure this out if you want to be able to market your products and services. So what really is a sales funnel? A sales funnel is just simply, it's a predictable process by which strangers become prospects, prospects become customers, and customers become raving fans. So we're just taking people down a journey. We're taking people down a pathway where we're developing that relationship with them. So let's look at a few examples of how this looks. How does this work in the physical world? How does this work in the regular world where we go out and buy products in person? Well, if you've ever gone and bought a car and gone to the dealership, one of the very first things they do for you is they say, hey, come on in and take a free test drive. Okay, great. So you want to, I might be interested in this car. All right, let's go take it for a drive and see what you think of it. So you take that test drive. And then after that, that's when they start talking to you about actually purchasing the car. But they're building a relationship with you the whole time. They're getting you to experience the car. They want you to smell it. They want you to feel what it's like to drive it, to imagine, oh, I could be driving this car every day, to have that feeling, that sense about you. And so hopefully you'll say, okay, yeah, I think this is it. I think this is the car I really want. And you purchase the car. But it doesn't stop there. Then what they usually do is they offer you the ability to purchase an extended warranty or something else over and above on top of what you're paying for with the car. So they add on a premium offer on it. And then after that, they say, have you set up to come in and do your repairs and maintenance with them. So this has turned into showing up, just looking at a car, into a long-term relationship with the customer. Now, dentists do the very same thing, just in their own field. A dentist will offer you a free teeth cleaning. You'll see that come in a free teeth cleaning. That is very common for them to offer that. So then what happens, you go in for the free teeth cleaning and they'll say, oh, did you realize you actually have a cavity? Or they'll say something else might be an issue with your teeth, or something else is going on. And then they'll invite you back for getting a filling put in that cavity. Maybe you needed surgery on something. And then what they do also is, oh, you know what? Well, let's just set you up for recurring cleanings every 6 months. Again, they turn that initial visit into a long-term relationship with you as their customer. You are now coming back again and again, and it's a recurring, regular revenue stream. Retail stores follow similar processes too. Whether or not you're realizing it, this is the same business model being played out again and again in just different types of venues. Retail stores start out, they will offer a discount, a sale, a coupon, something that entices you to come in and to their store and check it out. Come in, look at it, come see what this special deal is, because you might really want this special deal. But while you're there, you possibly get additional products. Anyone that goes to the grocery store knows how that works. They send out coupons every single week. Say, here, so much off of bread or milk or cheese or whatever it is that they're having a coupon for that week. You come in and get those things, and then what happens to your shopping cart by the time you get to the checkout line? Well, there's not just one thing in there. There's usually 10 or 20 more. You usually have a series of other things that you also got. So they've turned that initial draw in, that initial lead in, into purchasing all sorts of additional products. And then again, if it's not a grocery store, but if it's like an electronics store, you buy something that's an electronics store type material, they will offer you an extended warranty. Or, if you're a grocery store, now they got you coming back for recurring orders. There's all sorts of additional ways they turn that initial contact, turning a stranger into a prospect into a customer into a raving fan. It's the same flow. Each one just has their own way of doing it. A life coach. A lot of people like to be coaching, and there's a lot of people I know, even in our audience, who are coaches in some way, shape, or form. Coaches do this by offering a free training, a free resource, some valuable thing that they can put out there and offer to people. And then after that, after they give them that free training or resource, they offer them their core program. It may be their coaching program that you can buy, and you can go through all their content, you can watch all the videos and do all these things. And then from there, maybe they offer, more specialized one-on-one or group coaching services so that you can go up to a higher level product. Now, should you have a sales funnel in your business? Should this be something that you should be doing in yours? The answer is very simply, yes. This is exactly what you should be doing. This is exactly the process, because this is how business is done. So why should you do it? I'm going to tell you, because your customers are people, and you may be looking at me like, gee, thank you, Captain Obvious. But yes, the problem that we run into is too often we focus so heavily on getting the sale. We just want someone to buy our stuff. So we just buy my things, and I see it too many times. People just go straight to making the offer. Just buy my stuff. We forget that there's a human being on the other side of the transaction, and there's a relationship that needs to be built. There's a relationship that needs to be nurtured over the course of time. And if we don't remember that, this causes us to ask for the sale too soon, and potential customers to walk away without buying because they weren't there at that point in the relationship yet. So just go to remember, customer relationships are a lot like dating relationships. What do I mean? If you, like some of us, it's been a long time since we've been out on a date, but we hopefully still have their memories of what it was like to go out on a date, or maybe we have children that are dating, which is amazingly enough now true for me. But if you were out on a date with someone and they looked at you on the first date and said, hey, you'll make a great father, or you'll make a great mother. Okay. Your opinion would be, how do I get out of here? That is not the appropriate time to ask to say that type of comment on the first date, because the relationship is not at that point yet. It's way, way too early. Now, if you're dating for a year and you've been together for a year, okay, well, that comment now becomes far more appropriate and far more valid. But far too often we do this the same way, but we follow that same mistake when we're trying to sell our products and services. We go straight to hopping on our soapbox and saying, buy my product, give me your money, buy my stuff, get my thing. And we forget that this is a relationship. We forget that this is something that has to be built and nurtured and developed with that person on the other side. We can't just yell at them and say, hey, buy my stuff. No, it doesn't work that way. That's not how sales works. That's not how people buy. So we have to keep in mind that the approach for this is really quite simple, but we have to keep it in mind. It's selling is serving. We first have to approach our prospects, our customers, with a serving attitude. How can I help you? How can I add value to your life? How can I help you solve a problem? How can I improve your situation in your life? And so you do this through your sales funnel. So how do you build that into a sales funnel? Do you do all this? This is why the sales funnel has several steps. And how do we do that as a sales funnel? I'll show you right now. The very first step in your sales funnel always needs to be give. Give value, create connection. Give them something of value. Give them a reason to step into your virtual front door. Give them a reason to want to have interest in connecting with you and doing things with you. Some sample of ideas of how you can do this online is you can give people a guide, a free guide to something that will help them with something that you know your prospect needs, something you know your prospect is struggling with. It could be a free training that you can offer them that'll help show them how to do something important to them. It could be a tool or a resource that would be very valuable to them. Something that you know your ideal customer is already struggling with. Something that you know your ideal customer needs. This would be important to them. This would be something that would be valuable to them. And when you create these resources, remember, make it so that it's low cost to you, so you're not spending money every time you give one of these away. Make sure it has high perceived value. And the way that you do that is the thing that your lead magnet solves, the thing that your initial value give is solving is important. You know, if you're going to give me a guide on how to tie my shoes, Not important enough. You're going to give me a guide on how to effectively, how to effectively get people to opt into my sales funnel. Much more valuable. Strategies on how to do that. The value of is determined by the problem that you are solving. It needs to be provided easily. In other words, somebody puts their name and email in and they can have it sent to them very, very easily, or they can opt in and the training will be right there. It's not like it's a challenge for it to be delivered. You need to be able to leverage this. So in other words, it has to be just as easy for you to have one person take advantage of this as it is for you to do 100 or 1,000 people through it. It needs to be something that you can just run large numbers of people through without a problem. And your initial offer needs to be focused on solving one problem. This free thing that you're giving away needs to solve one problem. Don't make it complex. Don't make it convoluted. Don't make it something that you're like, oh my goodness, like this free thing I'm getting is a PDF, but it's 50 pages long. It's very technical. It's very difficult to go through. No, too much. Make it simple. You want somebody to be able to use it and get value out of it very, very quickly and very, very easily. The second step is then you develop your core offer. What is that going to look like? Your core offer really is going to solve a primary problem. Again, it could be your course. It could be something that a product or service that you have that solves a real problem that they have. You've given them something that got them started on the journey, but now you're offering them something that is actually a little more significant problem. And this is getting to a bigger issue here of what it is that your customer really needs. And this as well needs to be able to be provided in large numbers. This needs to be something that you can sell at scale. And it has to be more of a moderate price point. We're not looking to go straight from that free initial value give straight up to the moon in price. We're really looking to kind of stair step our way into it. And really what this does as people buy these things, as people jump into these offers, it starts to build customer loyalty. It starts to build that relationship. It starts to get people agreed to saying yes to you and having good experiences with you and used to having a positive result when they do business with you. And then your third step is always going to be to develop your premium offer. Now, what is your premium offer? This is something that solves a high or a higher level problem, something more significant, something you're providing a higher level of service. It can be customized. It can be something that, this is where you're working with people in a group and you're actually working with their specific situation. It could be one-on-one. It could be something that or at an event or something, but it's something that you're going to be able to work with people and give them a higher degree of service and attention. There should be some more personal touch, something that a premium offer is all about offering more personal touch. It's like the difference between buying a course and being in a mastermind. A course you can buy for a much smaller dollar amount, but if you're in a mastermind, you're with the person who's the thought leader. You're with the leader of that area and you're getting to interact with them. You're getting to talk to them. You're getting to have personal relationship with them and get your questions asked and dealt with. And as a result, it also has a much higher price point because now this is becoming more consuming of your time. It's something that you're putting a lot more time and effort and energy in. So the price has to go up because it's not something that you sell at scale. So how does this look when we look at various funnels? How does this actually translate? How are we actually making that look in a sales funnel when we're building it online? It's really, as I showed you earlier with all those examples of what it looks like in the world of retail, like when you go to a store or you go to a car car lot or an auto dealer, when you go to the dentist, when you go to a retail store, they all have their set formula of what they're bringing you through. It's the same thing online. For example, if you have a webinar funnel, you have a registration page where people opt in and they're going to hear a training. And that training is going to be that initial value add. This is the first step in the process of building that relationship with that customer. You're giving them value, you're giving them something that's useful and helpful. And through this training, you're actually changing their beliefs. That's the thing that I think most people don't understand when they're doing webinars, is that when you do a webinar, it's not just about teaching. In fact, you should not teach on a webinar. That should not be happening. What you should be doing is rebuilding beliefs. That is what you should be doing on a webinar, because that is how you help somebody see what's possible, whereas before they couldn't see what's possible. And then what happens is either they watch the webinar live or they watch the replay, and then they're taken and shown an offer. And so they get help and they register and they opt in, and they're all of a sudden their eyes are open. And they're watching this training. Everything is flipped. Everything is switched so that they're saying, whoa, wait a minute. I all of a sudden now see this totally different. I see what I was doing wrong. My beliefs about how all this work have shifted because I'm seeing things through a much different set of eyes. And now that I see how this is possible, now I see how this can work, I need something to actually execute on that information, on that new perspective. And that's where the offer comes in. That's where you make your offer and say, hey, I want to do this. I want to be able to buy this. And I want to be able to take advantage of this new insight. I want to be able to do this. And so there's an offer that's made, and then you have a confirmation page. So again, we're taking people from that initial contact. They're strangers over here. We're building a relationship with them here by giving them value, by helping them, by making a difference in their lives. And then we're making them an offer for them to take a next step to purchase. And then for where we're confirming it. This is how an online funnel is doing the same thing that a retail store is. This is how an online funnel is doing the same thing that a dentist is. And then from there, we send them ongoing emails. We invite them to other trainings. We invite them to future offers. And we keep building that relationship, and we turn that relationship into recurring revenue. Another way of doing a funnel is through something like a challenge funnel. You've probably seen many 5-day challenges or different types of funnels like this that are challenges. You join for a short period of time. Through that period of time, you're made offers to like, come join this 5-day challenge and learn how to, and then you fill in the blank of whatever it is that you're going to teach them how to do. And people do the same thing. They opt in through the registration page. They say, yes, I want to learn these things. I want to get that value. I want to learn those insights. And then they receive daily trainings. Again, depending on how many days are in your challenge, you could have different 3, 4, 5, however many days you have it. You have daily trainings where you're teaching them one core principle every single day. But all of these lead to, again, changing their beliefs, helping them to understand what's really possible in their life, helping them to understand what it is, how they need to think, how they need to approach things for them to have success. And then at the end, there's a sales presentation on the last day where you offer them the solution, where you offer them what is the answer. You've got them to reorient their thinking. You've gotten them to change how they view things. And now you're reorienting their thinking. And then you make an offer that makes 100% sense based on all the new insights that they've had. And you make them an offer, and then there's a confirmation page. And again, same thing. And then the ongoing relationship is built through the emails that are sent out in the future. You send them out emails, you may invite them to future opportunities and future offers, and you do different things to make sure that they have an opportunity again to buy something else again in the future, to do something else. And you return this into recurring revenue, into recurring opportunities and recurring streams. So again, it's build the relationship here. These are strangers at this point. They're becoming people who are prospects and leads now, because now we have information on them and a name and email, and they're getting value. They're developing a relationship with us. They're building that connection to us where they're seeing life through a new perspective. And now they're getting an opportunity to say, oh, I get it now. This is why what I was doing in the past wasn't working. And now I see why what I was doing was wrong. And so I'm going to take it and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to take advantage of this opportunity because, wow, I get it. This is exactly the thing that I need to answer the new insight. So it makes sense. And we make the offer, and then they purchase, and they go to the confirmation page. A book funnel works very similarly. Again, we have a registration page that talks about the value of the book and all the different bonuses and all the different things that go through that. You have all the different things that you can create connection with them, talk about what it is. You talk about your journey, your struggle, all the different things that you've gone through, and they connect with you and they start building that relationship with you. And they decide, you know what, this is an amazing offer. I'm going to excuse me, go ahead and get your book. Hold on. I'm battling a little tickle in the throat. Here, you probably heard that, but anyway, so they go ahead and order your book, and they do that, and they say, yes, I want it. And then you usually make like a $27 to $37 little bump offer. Like, hey, you're getting my book for free plus shipping. You can also then would you also like this extra training, this extra thing? Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? It's not that much extra. I'll go ahead and get that too. Great. And then they're taken to the next page where they're offered the ability to get a first upsell, and they're offered the ability to buy your course or your program or something else. Again, it's a step up in the relationship. And this one, actually, a book funnel will allow you to go more for a premium offer on upsell number 2, and then straight to the confirmation page. So the book funnel is actually a little bit more involved and a little bit more fully encompassing this sales funnel relationship that I've been talking about. Because again, people start here as strangers. They come in, they get excited about learning the secrets and the insights and all the value that you clearly know that they don't. Their mind is being shifted. They're seeing life through a new set of eyes and realizing, oh my goodness, this is something I need to look further into. I'm going to get a copy of this book. And then they do that. And then they're shown this amazing opportunity to jump in and get this other program or course or whatever. And then this is your premium offer here, where people who really want to go in and be serious can buy this one. And again, you do that. And then again, you have them on your email list. You can invite them to future opportunities. You could continue to nurture that relationship. So in summary, what you need to do is you need to discover what your audience needs. What are those things that the people that you are ideally suited to serve, the people that you are absolutely, these are the people that I am best, they're perfect for me. They're the people that I have what they need. And you need to figure out, what are those needs? What are those things that they want? And then offer a training or a resource that meets that need. And again, do one need at a time. Don't make a free resource that's going to solve 20 things. It's too big, too much, too complicated. Keep it simpler. Make it something that they know that they can get this, and it's going to meet the need that they have. And then as you do that, you change their beliefs through that training or resource. And again, you're doing this in such a way that they see, like, oh my goodness, I've been thinking about this wrong the entire time. And that's why I'm not having success. That's why I'm not having the results that I want, because I've been thinking about it wrong. I've been approaching it wrong. And once they see that and see that they've been doing it wrong, then you offer a solution. And now if their beliefs are adequately changed, that solution makes 100% sense. They're going to be like, oh my goodness, I get it. Yes, this is what I need, because now I see more clearly. Now I understand what it is I need to do. And this solution makes 100% sense to me. And then once you do that, you follow up with other or premium type offers. So you can offer them other programs or services, or you can invite them to take a step up the value ladder and get something even more at a higher price, something that's even got more value to it. And I look at all this and I think about all those things. Think about how this flow is pretty much the same as if you go in to buy a car. It's the same process. You go to the dentist, you go to a retail store. This is the same process. And this is why sales funnels work. This is why sales funnels are the way that business is done online, because they're abiding by the principle that the transaction's not just a transaction. The transaction is an engagement with a human being on the other side, and that human being needs that relationship developed. That human being needs to be able to step in and through this process so that they are getting value, that they are being helped, that they get it and see what it is that you're doing. So this isn't magic. This is following and flowing with how human beings are created. This is following and flowing with how we think, on how we feel, on how we act. And that's why sales funnels work. And that's why everyone who is at all serious about having a online business should, without question, have a sales funnel.
Yeah, that's so good, David. You know, I was thinking about this just yesterday and into today, just how I think a lot of it is where people get tripped up on this whole idea in some ways is that when we're behind a screen, we forget about how we would engage somebody in person, right? Like, I mean, and we're seeing that on the negative side, even, you know, and we've seen it for years with social media and how people act, you know, on social media, for instance, that they wouldn't in person necessarily, in many cases. And I think in business, it's kind of the same thing is, you know, emailing people, connecting with people online through social media or whatever. And it's like, we're forgetting the fact that, like you said, it's a relationship. It's how would you engage if you walked up to somebody. My dad was in retail for like 35 years, and I worked in retail a little bit in high school and college, and just the fact that when a customer walked in, how did we approach them? How did we asked them what are they looking for? What do they need? How can we help them? Right, and then when you find out what they needed, then you're like, okay, well, if they bought shoes, well, do you need socks? Do you need something else? It's always the how else can I serve you? How else can I help you? And so I think online, because things are digital and virtual in a sense, right? We kind of lose sight on the fact, like you said, the human side of it. And I think this is really helpful reminder for us today. So folks really think about that. Like, just because you're behind a computer screen interacting with prospects or customers or clients doesn't mean that they're robots on the other end. They're people.
Right. And that's absolutely it. And that's why a funnel is a multi-step process. That's why funnels take people. And that's why when you just send somebody to a sales page and say, here, buy my stuff. I've seen people post on Facebook, buy my book, buy my thing. And I'm like, and they get no engagement on the post. I'm like, no kidding.
Right.
I don't mean to be rude, but you're not going to sell that way. Yelling at people, telling them, give me your money is not going to work. That's not how this process works. You don't understand how this works. You have to be able to build this out. And that's why sales funnels work, because the first step in a sales funnel, no matter what it is always give. You're serving. If you don't decide to go forward with me as a customer, fine. But hopefully I made an impact in your life. Hopefully I shared things that were valuable to you. Hopefully I served you in such a way that you are feeling good about this relationship. And maybe somewhere down the line in the future, you will come back and say, you know what? I remember David. David actually helped me with this thing. That was really useful. I wonder what he has to say about this or what about that. And I'm going to go back and see what he is. And maybe the next time around, they're like, oh, you know what? Now I am going to buy because this person does, really help me, and they really serve me and provide a lot of helpful, advice as I go through all this stuff. And that's, again, it's developing that relationship. You got to be out there and you got to be giving things first before you get them convinced that they're going to want to buy.
Well, and you're so true. And I think, the thing I think has kind of been my big aha for the last year alone is we can, especially when we're creating, if we're writing books or creating courses or developing products or putting together new services or whatever, we get so wrapped up in the creation side. And then what we forget about is, or can easily forget about, is the marketing component is really building that relationship with your audience so that they can actually consume or order what you have to offer. And so for me, there's been times where I'm like, well, I just must not have created something very good. That's not, and then I realized, no, it's not about the quality of my product, my book, my service. It's, I haven't done this work. And a lot of us, especially, if we stepped into this new world of business and especially online, we don't realize that there is this warming up period. And we've got, it's kind of like if I want to go find my ideal customer in real life in person, I'm not going to go to the complete opposite extreme type of place where they are, right? I'm going to go where they are. And we have to do the same thing online. We have to find our people. We have to start connecting with people. It's about relationships and connections. And then we build that trust. There's a friend of mine. She sells, she's a sales rep for a employee benefits company. And she is so good about networking. She's winning awards with like chambers of commerce and different groups for being like the person of the year and all that. People love her, and they don't always need her services, but they refer her like crazy. And if they know they need something like what she does have to offer, she's got to be the first call that they make, And I think it's, but that's an in-person example, but we lose sight of that, I think, online. Right. And so, I think this is super helpful to us to just, once again, if the tactical side of building a funnel is one thing, but thinking about the relationship, the engagement with your prospects and your customers is so huge, folks.
Right. Well, and there's really two sides to building out a funnel. One is the tactical, which Chris just mentioned, which is How do all the pieces actually fit together? How do I lay them out? How do they work? Do all the buttons do what they're supposed to do? Can I actually take an order on the page? All of that kind of stuff. The other side of it is really the copy. How are you communicating with that person on the other side? And I honestly, a lot of people, that's their biggest fail point is the copy just doesn't move people. It doesn't move people to action. It doesn't connect with people. They just, again, it's the good news is this is totally a skill you can learn.
Right.
But there's a few things that have to be in place for that to happen. One is you really, really need to believe in your product or service. And that's one of the things I see a lot is people will say, yeah, I really want to do this. But I don't want to sell it. And I'm like, okay, so why don't you want to sell? I don't want to be a salesperson. Like, okay, so why do you think your product can really help someone and make a difference in their life? Yeah. So why wouldn't you want them to get it?
Yeah.
And there becomes this issue underneath of people realizing they really don't believe in themselves and they don't believe in their product. And if they really believed in their product and they really believed that what they were selling people was a really good thing and is what people really need and what people are really, if I get you to do this, your life is going to be changed. And the only way I can do it is there is a price on it because I can't do this for free and survive. If I did everything for free, I would be not doing it very long because every person has to be able to create an income that allows them to live. So I have to do it this way. Number two, if I do charge you a price, you're going to be a lot more serious about engaging. Yeah. If I gave it all away for free, you're going to quit and bail because you don't have any skin in the game. You didn't cost you anything. So me charging you is doing it a favor. I'm making you take a step. I'm making you commit to your own success in this, whatever area that may be of life. And so you have to have that belief. You have to have that underlying level of, I know that what I'm doing is valuable. And I don't mind saying it is this many dollars to purchase what it is that I'm offering because I know it's worth it 10 times that. I know it is. And that's where you stop being afraid of selling because you're stopping thinking about how can I get that money in my pocket and you're switching over to the mindset of how can I make a difference in this person's life.
I heard a great analogy today, David, that somebody was saying that she had a hard time accepting money or, asking for payment, early on in her business. And somebody said to her, well, just think of money as thank you notes for you helping them. I was like, oh my gosh, because if we've got money hang up issues mentally, and a lot of people do, and that's a lot of it, right? But if we thought, what, I've helped you and you're sending me thank you notes in the form of cash or check or credit card, payment, whatever, you're thanking me for helping you. And I also was thinking about how if we, it's kind of an old adage, but it's like, if you had the cure to cancer, would you keep it to yourself or would you go tell everybody you could? And whatever our thing is, our product, our service, our books, our messages, if we truly, like you said, if we truly believe they're valuable, and why would we create them if we don't believe that, first of all? Yep. But if we truly believe that they're valuable, then why would we not want to put it in somebody else's hands? Why would we not want to help them? And it's just, I think it's just this whole idea that we have seen such bad examples over the years of the slimy salespeople. And so we think about sales in such a wrong way. Right. But if we see it as truly delivering, a product, a service, a tool, a message that's going to help somebody get unstuck, whatever the thing is. I know that some of our folks in this group they're involved with companies that do network marketing, and they're they have great health products, or they have great different nutrition products, whatever it may be, and they're like they believe in it for a reason, right? And yet it's still so easy to get hung up on sharing about it because we have this image in our mind of not wanting to be that slimy salesperson. Well, the bottom line that I've at least had to tell myself is, well, don't be that person. Right. Don't be the slimy salesperson. Build a relationship. Let people buy into you, and trust you because of how you interact with them. And so, I actually got an email from somebody yesterday who isn't going to be a client of mine, most likely ever. he's actually a missionary, and he was raising funds, and he was like asking me if I had any connections that maybe I could introduce him to or whatever. And he just mentioned, he goes, thanks for all you're doing online. I see a lot of your content and everything. People, I have to be reminded every now and then, people are noticing, people are paying attention, even when you don't sense it. And then, like you said, when they're ready, if they have a need or a problem that they feel like I or somebody else can help them with, then they're going to engage with us. So a lot of it's planting seeds, I guess, that I think a lot of us, it's persistence in that. And that's why I think it's a struggle, because we want quick results. That's why I think people say, hey, go buy my book, or go buy my product, go buy my course. They don't want to go through the journey of a relationship, which can ultimately have better long-term results.
Oh, it absolutely will. I mean, you're just wanting a transaction, and then I honestly question those people. Do you really care about that other person or not? Because at that point, you've made it all about yourself, and you just made it about getting some money for your product or your book or whatever it is that you're selling. And I just look at this as, look, I'm a Christian, and I have that faith element in me of, I believe that we are called to be salt and light in every aspect of life. Some of us were called to be in ministry, other ones of us were called to be in business, and we were called to be in business for the purpose of creating things that are going to be valuable to human beings, to help them in their life, to make a difference for them, and to serve them. And in exchange, we get paid for what it is, the value that we bring into their lives. And in doing so, what happens is we're fulfilling our mandate. We're fulfilling the things that we're supposed to do, because we're being salt and light in the way that we were gifted. And to do so with integrity, with honesty, with decency, with respect of other people. That's how we do it. But you have to be willing, to do it, and you have to agree that, hey, this is valuable. I know what I'm offering you is incredibly valuable. This is just the price. This is what it has to be for this to work. The only way I can actually do this and deliver this is if this is what the price has to be, because for me to be able to deliver this product or service to you, there's cost. Like if it's a physical product, you have to manufacture it, you have to create it. And
I was even thinking about this. I forget where I heard this the other day, but it was this whole idea that I know you've probably heard before too. It's like, it's not the best product or service that is the most profitable always. It's the person who can communicate the best to get, so there are great marketers out there that are selling junk. I mean, let's be honest, right? As seen on TV type stuff is not always the highest of quality, but it's extremely profitable because people know how to sell. They know how to get people to feel the need, and even if it's a superficial need, but they're connecting with their audience in a way through, whether it's a video, whether it's through a written advertisement, an email, whatever, that makes you think that this is going to make my life better, or it's going to fix a problem. And I think, honestly, David, I think that's the heart of, I just believe that the people in this group all have something extremely valuable to do and to give and to help the world. But I think the majority of our problems are going to, only going to be solved through understanding this whole idea of this funnel, and not just the tactics, like you said, of the funnel itself, the steps of the funnel, but that relational journey that people, we're taking people on from, I don't know you, to I know you a little bit, to I think I like you, you have something to offer, I'm going to try it out, to I really want more. I need your help. And for me, I think it's a lot, for me, at least it's patience. I can't speak for everybody, but for me, it's about being patient, navigating the process, being consistent, showing up consistently, and then continuing to listen, asking questions, because sometimes it's not that your product needs to be tweaked, even it's how do you need to tweak your messaging so that they understand how your thing does meet their need, but maybe before it wasn't that clear to them. So
I would argue that that's usually in the majority of the time.
Yeah.
Is that it's the message. You probably, most people here who are good people with good, hearts that are creating valuable tools and resources, their product is probably good. I mean, their product is probably solid. It's how are you presenting it? How are you messaging it? How are you putting all the pieces around it, and how you show it to the world so that the world can get it? They may not, if you don't present it in a compelling way, they're not going to get the message. They're not going to understand it. They're not going to grab hold of it in a way that's going to allow them to really say, oh, I understand. I have to get this, and allow you to make sales. That's usually the whole problem, is the messaging.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think so. I mean, I feel like that's probably been, like I said, that's been my big aha this past year is I can create things till, the end of time. But if I don't learn the messaging, if I don't learn the copyright, if I don't learn, just figure out how do you connect with their need or their desire and, kind of building that bridge, then no matter how great of a thing you have, it's not going to be purchased. It's not going to be engaged with, and you're going to be a frustrated business person and you may give up. But I think you double down on how do I do this? Especially once you have something, then it's about how do you refine the marketing message. And I know, you and I both, and I know a lot of folks here, we've heard Russell Brunson or we've read his books or whatever. And I remember him saying one time that we have to learn to love marketing our thing as much as our thing, if not more. And when I heard that, I was like, oh, that makes so much sense. At first I didn't like it, right? Because I'm like, oh, I don't want to think about marketing. I don't want to think about all that. But then I realized what he's saying is, it may take me a month or 6 months, whatever, a week, depending, to create the thing. But after that's created, then it's about the marketing. And if you don't like talking about your thing, if you don't like trying to put it in the hands of the right people, then you're not going to be successful.
Right. Why did you even create it then?
Yeah. I mean, that dude, we know that he does a lot more than ClickFunnels and he's got all these things, but ClickFunnels is his baby, right? And he's the ClickFunnels guy. And, I think there are people, our friend Mary Baloney, I've always joked with her. I'm like, she's the fundraising girl. Like, she's the one that if anybody needs fundraising help, I'm like, go to Mary.
Right.
Her identity, right? And she loves helping people raise money. So, Joan Turley was, I know she had to hop off, it sounds like here, but she wants to help salon owners be profitable and to have a great salon business. Well, when you're passionate, then you just want to get to every salon owner in her case that you can possibly get to because you can help them.
Right.
So
I agree. I mean, it's just a matter of, I still believe in my heart that God has a special place in his heart for entrepreneurs. Because I fully believe that entrepreneurs can change the world. I think we've all become fairly convinced and clear on the fact that our governments are corrupted and not going to help us. I think corporations are a lot the same, and they're large bureaucracies, and they're not going to be able to do it. The ones who are going to truly be able to impact the world are the ones that are free and nimble. And that's the entrepreneurs, the ones who can see a need in the marketplace, say, people need this. People need help with this. This is something that they really, really need. Let's go. Let's make something and let's figure out a way to get it to them, to create it and to market it in such a way that people are going to understand it and get excited about it and grab it and change their lives. And that's when you have that, we have an advantage over everyone else in the world in terms of our ability to make a difference in the lives of others. So don't ever lose sight of that when you do have your days when, I'm not having the success I want. I'm upset or I'm frustrated. I get it. It's the journey. It is what we are all going through. But think about your why. Think about your purpose for doing it in the first place.